All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something pretty wild. The world of modern fame. I mean, it seems like being a celebrity these days isn't just about your talent anymore. It's more like trying to navigate this complex minefield of social, political, and cultural expectations. One wrong step, and boom, your career could be toast. So let's dive right in.
So yeah, that's really the big question we're tackling today. You've got to wonder, is modern stardom basically a minefield now? From who you follow on social media, to the characters you play, even your personal history, everything about a public figure's life is just completely under the microscope. Is this just, the price of fame in the 21st century? Or has it become this impossible tightrope that no one can really walk?
Okay, so first up, let's talk about what happens when politics and celebrities smash into each other. It really seems like today, who you associate with, or get this, who you're just rumored to associate with, can have some seriously real consequences for your career.
And what's so interesting here is just how subtle these offenses can be. I mean, take Sydney Sweeney. After these rumors started swirling that she might be conservative, her small role in the Devil Wears Prada sequel was just gone. Now, officially, they said it was a structural decision, but, a lot of people behind the scenes were wondering if it was basically a punishment. And then you've got country star Ella Langley, who got a ton of heat just for following a conservative account on TikTok. It wasn't even about something she said, it was about who people thought she was listening to.
This quote from our source really just hits the nail on the head. It asks this fascinating question about our culture, right? Has curiosity just been completely replaced by condemnation? It feels like the idea of, engaging with different points of view, which used to be seen as a sign of being smart, is now looked at with total suspicion, especially in this online world where you're rewarded for instant judgment instead of, thinking things through. It really makes you wonder, how did we even get to this point?
All right, so moving on, it's not just about politics. Celebrities also have to walk this incredibly delicate cultural tightrope. In this world of cultural representation, a single word, a character, even a gesture can just set off a massive online debate. A perfect example of this, Anne Hathaway. During an interview, she just casually used the word inshallah. It's an Arabic phrase that means if God wills it. Now, some people saw it as a respectful nod to the culture, but others, well, they started questioning if it was really appropriate for her to use it. And just like that, it kicked off this huge debate about cultural appropriation versus appreciation.
And this leads to a quote that points to what some critics see as a pretty glaring hypocrisy in the whole entertainment industry, and it's about how it handles different cultures and beliefs.
And you can really see that perceived double standard right here. The argument goes something like this. While a lot of cultural traditions are now handled with extreme sensitivity and care, other belief systems, and specifically Christianity and conservative values, are often still treated as fair game. They're the punchlines, the villains, the props. It really highlights this tension over what's considered okay to make fun of or critique.
And we see this tightrope walk again, back with The Devil Wears Prada 2. There was this character, an intern named Jin Chow, described as smart, adorable, and anxious. But some critics online immediately labeled the character as racist, saying it played into stereotypes. Now, tons of other people saw no issue with it at all, but it just goes to show you the razor-thin line creators have to walk. One person's cute character is another person's harmful caricature.
And finally, let's talk about the legends. For artists who've had these long, celebrated careers, you'd think the minefield would disappear, but it doesn't. It just kind of changes shape. The challenge becomes all about managing their performance, their memory, and how their complicated stories get told.
So, a recent clip of Mariah Carey struggling to hit her famous high notes just went completely viral, and it sparked this huge debate. On one side, you had people praising her for singing live and really giving it her all, but on the other, it drew these really sad comparisons to the end of Whitney Houston's career. And it brings up that painful question, when should a legend maybe step away to protect their legacy?
And speaking of legacy, sometimes it gets defined by a single number, 34%. Oof, that is the dismal Rotten Tomatoes score for the new Michael Jackson biopic. For a movie about one of the most successful artists of all time, that is a critical disaster. And the reason why is so important for understanding this modern minefield. So what was the problem? According to critics, the film's biggest failure was its choice to completely ignore the child abuse allegations that pretty much dominated Jackson's later life. Instead of actually grappling with the complexity of its subject, the film just practices what critics are calling selective storytelling. Right, and this is the crucial point. By leaving out such a massive part of his story, the film basically tanks its own credibility. I mean, whether you believe the allegations or not, they are an undeniable part of his history.
To just ignore them is to present a fantasy, not a real biography. And audiences today, they expect transparency.
So, to wrap things up, we've basically walked through the three major zones of this modern celebrity minefield, right? You've got the intense scrutiny of their political affiliations, you've got the delicate tightrope of cultural representation, and then finally, there's the immense pressure of managing a public legacy in an era that just demands total transparency.
And this all brings us to our final and pretty provocative question. As we're all consuming media, are we actually focused on appreciating the art itself? Or have we shifted to policing the personal lives and the beliefs of the artists who create it? It's a really blurry line, and it's a line that pretty much defines the treacherous landscape of modern fame. So, what do you think?